In Flower Mound, Texas, a shocking confrontation recently caught on video has ignited national outrage and renewed discussions about racial discrimination in America. The incident, in which a Hispanic Door Dash driver was verbally harassed and demeaned while attempting to carry out her work, underscores the persistent challenges minorities face in their daily lives. The aggressor, identified as Tonya Chadwell, targeted the woman with xenophobic insults, mocking her for speaking Spanish and suggesting she was illegal. The incident spread rapidly across social media, with millions viewing the footage and expressing disgust at the blatant racism displayed in broad daylight. What could have been an ordinary afternoon quickly transformed into a disturbing example of how deep-seated prejudice continues to manifest itself in public spaces. This event has raised urgent questions about accountability, the power of viral media, and the responsibilities communities share in fostering inclusivity and respect. The incident, harassment in broad daylight, the confrontation unfolded in a parking lot, while a Hispanic woman waited in her car to complete a Door Dash order. What should have been a simple, everyday work routine turned into an ordeal when Tonya Chadwell approached her vehicle. Instead of minding her own business, Chadwell began interrogating the woman's presence, mocking her for speaking Spanish and hurling accusations that she did not belong in the country. Perhaps the most jarring moment of the video came when Chadwell declared, "Because you're an illegal, go speak your language back in Mexico." Such words are not only deeply offensive, but also symptomatic of a mindset that equates speaking a foreign language with being an outsider or undeserving of dignity. The victim, visibly shaken but composed, was forced to endure humiliation in a public setting, while Chadwell seemed emboldened by her own prejudice. The video's viral nature has amplified the gravity of this incident, exposing the cruelty of casual harassment and reminding the public of the very real dangers of xenophobic attitudes. For the Hispanic community, it represented yet another painful reminder of the discrimination faced while simply going about daily life. The viral video, outrage and solidarity, the speed with which the video spread, highlights the power of social media in shaping public discourse. Within hours of being uploaded, it was shared across multiple platforms, sparking both condemnation and solidarity. Thousands of viewers rallied behind the victim, expressing anger at Chadwell's behavior and voicing support for the Hispanic woman who had been unfairly targeted. Social media also gave the wider community a space to amplify their own stories of similar experiences, creating a collective voice against everyday racism. For many, the incident served as a rallying cry to confront discrimination head-on, no matter how subtle or overt it may appear. The wave of solidarity demonstrated that, while harassment remains a grim reality, there is also a growing movement determined to stand with victims rather than remain silent. At the same time, the viral nature of the footage transformed this local incident into a national talking point, pushing conversations about xenophobia, harassment, and cultural respect into mainstream attention. This broad public engagement illustrates the potential of technology to hold aggressors accountable and to spotlight injustices that might otherwise go unnoticed. Identifying the aggressor, Tonya Chadwell exposed in the days following the incident. The aggressor was identified as Tonya Chadwell. Remarkably, her estranged daughter confirmed her identity online, further fueling the public's interest and outrage. This revelation intensified calls for Chadwell to be held accountable, both socially and potentially legally, for her actions. The identification process also showcased the role of digital communities in uncovering the truth. Online sleuths, activists, and everyday users collaborated to verify the woman's identity, demonstrating the collective power of social accountability in the digital age. The exposure of Chadwell's name not only brought her behavior to light, but also sparked debates about the consequences of such actions in an era where reputations can collapse overnight. Yet, this process also raises complicated questions about the balance between justice and mob shaming. While many agree that Chadwell's actions deserved condemnation, others caution against the dangers of trial by social media, where accountability sometimes veers into harassment. This tension underscores the need to find a balance between holding individuals responsible and ensuring fair, constructive responses. Everyday racism, a broader reflection the incident in Flower Mound, is far from unique. Across the United States, minorities regularly face harassment, whether through slurs, exclusion, or outright aggression. The rhetoric used by Chadwell, mocking language, equating Spanish with illegality, and insisting someone go back to another country, is a familiar pattern for many immigrants and Hispanic Americans. Such harassment is often fueled by stereotypes and misinformation, perpetuating a harmful narrative that equates cultural difference with criminality. These prejudices, though voiced by one individual in this case, reflect systemic issues that remain ingrained in society. They shape how communities interact, how individuals feel safe in public spaces, and how minorities navigate everyday life. For victims, the emotional and psychological toll of such incidents can be long-lasting. Experiences of public humiliation can erode trust, instill fear, and contribute to a sense of exclusion within one's own community. These effects highlight the urgent need for collective action to challenge discriminatory attitudes and provide meaningful support to those affected. Community response. Building inclusivity in Flower Mound, community leaders and residents have responded by urging victims of harassment to speak up and seek support. The incident has prompted conversations about the importance of reporting discriminatory behavior and ensuring robust systems are in place to address such complaints. Authorities, advocacy groups, and citizens alike are working to remind residents that racism has no place in their community. This includes encouraging bystanders to take an active role in discouraging harassment, documenting incidents when safe to do so, and providing emotional and practical assistance to victims. For communities striving to move forward, education plays a central role. Initiatives that promote diversity awareness, cultural respect, and empathy are essential to building an environment where incidents like this become increasingly rare. By fostering open dialogue and emphasizing shared values of dignity and respect, Flower Mound and communities across the nation can become safer, more inclusive places. The gig economy connection. Vulnerability of workers. The victim in this case was a Door Dash driver, which highlights another important dimension: the vulnerabilities faced by gig economy workers. Independent contractors often work alone in unfamiliar areas and without the protections afforded to traditional employees. These conditions can leave them particularly exposed to harassment and abuse. Companies that employ gig workers have a responsibility to acknowledge these risks and provide resources to enhance safety. This might include training on conflict management, access to emergency hotlines, and stronger policies that address discrimination. For policymakers, it also raises questions about whether current labor protections adequately cover those working in flexible, app-based roles. Ultimately, ensuring the safety of gig workers requires a combined effort from corporations, communities, and governments. Everyone deserves to work without fear of discrimination or harassment, regardless of occupation or background. Moving forward, lessons and actions. The Flower Mound incident is a reminder that discrimination persists in American society, often in blatant and painful ways. But it also offers important lessons about the potential for solidarity, accountability, and change. Recognizing harassment as a problem is the first step. Addressing it requires deliberate and sustained action. Communities can move forward by investing in education programs that promote respect for diversity, providing support networks for victims, and ensuring that those who engage in discriminatory acts face meaningful consequences. At the same time, collective efforts to challenge stereotypes and celebrate cultural diversity can help dismantle the prejudices that fuel incidents like this. While the anger sparked by this incident is justified, it must also be channeled into constructive action. Only through consistent effort, at individual, community, and institutional levels, can society move toward a future where dignity and inclusion are the norm, not the exception. Conclusion: toward a more respectful society, the harassment faced by a Hispanic woman in Flower Mound, Texas, at the hands of Tonya Chadwell, has become a symbol of the challenges minorities continue to face in America. The video's viral spread has exposed not only the cruelty of one individual, but also the broader patterns of prejudice that linger within society. Yet, in the outrage and solidarity that followed, there is hope. By holding individuals accountable, supporting victims, and fostering a culture of respect, communities can turn painful moments into catalysts for progress. The path forward will require empathy, education, and collective determination, but it is a path worth pursuing. This incident reminds us that racism, in any form, cannot be ignored. Confronting it directly, with courage and unity, is the only way to build a future where diversity is not merely tolerated, but embraced and celebrated.